Well, at this point, that's kind of where we began our discussion about set 7 on the horizon. Panini announced this one as being sort of a starting point for the next set, where people who are new to the game should come in, that kind of thing. We won't get into the whole freezing of older stuff for a little bit. We're just saying that they do want this to be a starting point. So we're going to go and begin our discussion with the most basic. We're going to start with the masteries. This will be the blue style mastery. I personally am not generally a blue player, but I generally get how it all works. It has, of course, 2 abilities, one continuous and one once per turn power. If I had to evaluate it, did you think you'd ever see blue with damage buff on it? Ever? I did.
Yeah, because you think about like Ginyu and stuff like that. They do a lot of damage. The problem is that they're not going to win. The way that the blue has always been, they're not going to really win by anger unless if they're 13. You know, they're not going to win by angering out. They're not going to win. I mean, it's the downfall of Blue Vegeta.
I never thought about it.
They're not going to win. They're not going to let your opponent win by angering out. So then, what are you left with? You're left with either Dragon Ball, which they have a lot of cards that capture Dragon Balls and other stuff like that,
but not enough to make it meaningful.
No. So then that comes down to I've got to swing harder than you, and that's why they have like the physicals that do life card damage, and they got all the it's AT plus 5 stages, so that way we can get them down faster, so that way then we can start really wailing on them with our allies.
I didn't know beatdown or survival is it for the whole style. I never noticed that. It never occurred to me.
It's kind of pretty much the same thing with orange, except orange does it a little bit better in my opinion, but orange can't handle the anger game.
Well, they had to give every style something that does well.
Yeah, and that's what blue does. And I like this because it's still the discard, so it still makes Vegeta. It still gives the first hero Vegeta, an actual place to go.
I'm really
actually really excited about this because
his ability to not throw away. I forgot he can.
Yep, and so he gets a free draw.
Yeah.
And then you get to prevent instead of outright stopping, unfortunately.
So he can camp level 1 without a problem.
Yes, and this also opens up a couple other things. And actually, like, I was talking about this and I was telling other people about this and they thought I was crazy. But, you know, I was talking about a blue ally style Krillin with the new level 2. Because it works like an ally deck should. He can lower his stages to make your allies perform attacks to do extra damage, but with the old mastery you would ditch a card after you Krillin powered to do a crit, gain 2 anger. At that point you could either lower your opponent's anger another 1 or gain another anger. This will give him still that ability, but you get to draw. So I'm going to crit you, I'm going to gain 2 anger, and I'm going to draw a card, and then you're doing -4, -4.
Which is really impressive. People would say, oh, really? Just -4, -4 for the next attack? We should be specific. It says the next attack, not the next action. So this is a floating effect until it's used.
The nice thing about that, too, is it is balanced. Because you could still play unpreventable or unmodifiable. Well, actually, it's not preventable. It's unmodifiable attacks. Because that's not damage that's prevention, it's damage that's modified. So if you play like 18 or something like that,
it say prevent. It says prevent 4 and 4. So it's not a minus.
It's not a modifier. So it is just prevent. So so it would even get around like Android 18, but you could play things like, you know, choke and stuff like that are non-preventable.
Well, I'll give you why that's that exact phrasing, because I know people will simply say, oh, should it be -4, -4? It could be, but here's the problem with that.
But modifiers.
It's also in play continuously from the start of the game to the finish. With no way to remove it. You say, what does that have to do with anything? If that wasn't a prevent, if it was literally just -4, -4, it would be used every combat. It would be used in every circumstance and would be a little too powerful to be in play the entire game.
Yeah.
Especially drawing a card for
and then the prevent does make it a little more balanced than the modify does, actually, because you can play those cards that can't be prevented. So
exactly, and then it makes those cards more useful. Because sometimes if you're making like the whole game is you have to create circumstances sometimes.
It's gonna make Blue Head not disgusting. 6 life, 0 anger. I think they also had I'm glad that they didn't do the whole 6 anger level again.
Yeah.
Because they never really needed it to begin with, and I felt like that just made it more of an uphill climb against a blue deck.
Yeah. Oh gosh, and I don't miss it. It threw off my calculations every time.
Every time.
Every time. So very effective, more effective than people give it credit for certain. The whole discardability. Red mastery. I have a lot to say here, so I'll let you go first.
Okay, so they with this, I feel like they're trying to make it kind of more like the Saiyan. To kind of counteract that Brawly and that old Saiyan mastery. You can crit very often, but it still makes shoulder grab worth it.
Oh,
and makes it a viable tool of the deck.
Did shoulder grab get reprinted? Was it in the red starter?
I think it was. If not, it's not hard to find. It's a
no,
common.
I'm just saying, like, because there's going to be a point at which some of the stuff isn't going to be used.
Yeah, again, it's gonna be fine. It's not gonna be found anymore, and that's where your local stores are gonna come into play that do sell singles and stuff like that. And I'd get on them to do that because it's gonna help the newer players get in a little easier.
Oh yeah, because you could spend a lot of time trying to get out of print packs online with people trying to price gouge you.
Yep.
Don't even get into that. Don't feed into it. Don't support them.
But the nice thing is, it's at the end of combat that you can raise your anger one.
Oh gosh, yes.
Not during combat, which is nice.
Yes.
So you still can by banishing the top card of your deck, which then again comes back into those cards I was talking about that the Panini's kind of been working us towards this with the banishing stuff at the top of your deck to gain an anger. If it was a style card, you skip, which it kind of goes with the whole orange and the whole red of I'm just going to beat the crap out of you.
Well, that's the big idea, because this is what I was telling you. I had a bunch to say about it. First thing, of course, it's got a continuous power and a once per turn power. Red has always been the Furious style, the self-burnout, the burnout style, the one that is going to win or it's going to die kind of style.
Yeah, because if you can block it enough to where they're done with their actions, or you can just survive it to where they're done with their actions. It's like with Tien. I would win against Tien just because I knew what to block, when to block, and just kind of ride out the storm. And then once they were done with actions, you just start smacking them.
And that's the way it works. It's one of those. It's the 50 Cent of decks. I'm gonna kill you, die trying. The first ability we're talking about, whenever you use a critical damage effect, gain 2 stages. Awesome. No style except for Saiyan style had any such effect to gain stages from the mastery.
Well, and this one's a little more limited. And I like that because it has to crit. And that doesn't sound like it's very hard, but it's a lot harder than you think, especially with like a lot of the new stuff that came out.
Well, exactly.
And a lot of the new blocks that are like gain stages, or Namekian cards that are like, oh, play this attack, gain stages.
That's the big idea I was going to tell you about. The limiting factor that makes it balanced is that almost all the instant crit cards went away with set 1.
Yeah, I mean, like,
so
you do have a few of those, and you will probably run those, but in the long run, it doesn't really do you too much good either, unless you're going up against another heavy aggro deck. So.
Oh, exactly. So at the end of each combat, raise your anger. Now that's neat for one reason. One, it doesn't do anything in combat, so it can't be sort of what's that word? It can't get abused. Also, how many combats have you had?
Passive leveling. Yeah. It's a cool concept. I did a lot of that with Napa. When I played
gosh, yes, easy as pie. But I was going to tell you, think of how many turns you ended at 4 anger. How many turns did you end at 4 anger?
Yeah, I mean that happens quite a bit, and so that
I think they said that happens enough. Let's make it a thing.
Let's make it a thing to give them that little extra boost, or at least a little extra bit of a boost to give them recovery from a combat that went awry. Because it does work both ways, you can go up to this blue deck and just lose everything, and just be distraught about it. But hey, it's okay. At the end of the turn, you're still going to be in that.
You get repeatedly head knocked till there's nothing left of you.
Yep.
Which who doesn't love that, huh?
Yep.
Let's see. So the power is banish the top card of your life deck to raise your anger 1 level, which is great because we know this next set. It's a hint. This next set will have banish from your deck cards with red, kind of like destroy from the top for black, and
and stuff like they've been kind of doing that because they've had banish from graveyard, they've had banish from that, so they're just coming up with this whole kind of I understand you're going to go ham in and you're going to lose some life, so let's make this
Well, it keeps
thing.
that theme of red being somewhat self-destructive.
Yeah.
But I was going to tell you in particular, the second part of the power says banish a style card your opponent skips. Remember how we got that hint with Trunks' personality that there's going to be a big deal about skipping in the next set. So
and they've already got the red sword drill. So I mean, they're setting it up. But also, I mean, red TN could be a thing again.
Oh, heck yeah. Getting critical damage because he has a power that he boosts his damage automatically from his level 2 power. And if I remember correctly, it says whenever you do a critical damage effect. So you can just spam them in stages, shoot them with energy, spam them, shoot them with an energy. It'd be actually pretty neat.
Yep.
And I would like to see TN effective in something outside of black. That would be kind of nice. So our final verdict is a very good mastery, lots of potential, and less rife with abuse.
Yes.
Black. Oh gosh. To say my first thing about it, I was gonna yell, "No damage buff! It's antithetical to the stuff." No, it's fine.
Well, they tried to do that because it was getting abused way too often, but they still wanted to kind of make it viable, especially to Krillin. Because black has been such a synonymous thing with Krillin that it's to this point it's almost not fair to keep that with them.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with.
So basically, they just made it. Hey, your destructor disc is still gonna crit.
Yep.
Unless if you're going to get storage. At which point, it's not, because hiding drill, OP.
For the people who maybe don't know the game very well, who haven't played the game very long, Black has struggled with critical damage. Not always in dealing it, but just making it consistent. Yes. Also, they don't have very many cards at all in the whole game. We're talking 7 sets in, and we're talking about how few printed on the card critical damage effects are in Black. Like 5?
Yeah.
Hundreds of cards later, 5 of them. So what we're saying is the concept here of the continuous power, being able to do life cards 4, easy 4. It's easy to get 4. It's hard to get 5.
That way they get a little more ally control too.
Oh yeah, because they had virtually no ally.
Well, I mean they kind of do because they kind of can get them out of the way with scouting and stuff like that.
Oh sure,
and they can tech in cards to actually grab their allies from the opponent's deck,
which is good.
Which is good, but like to tech in a single card. It does gain you anger.
Yeah.
It does double your anger too, but to net in cards just for against one person, that's
what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Black had to waste space because they had nothing to help manage it. So now for the 1 per turn power, discard a card from your hand. So it does go back to the discarding mechanic, which is fine because we have plenty of cards that still follow it. Yep. If that card was styled, your main person gains 6 stages, or you may raise or lower a player's anger level. Do you remember how Black is maybe one of the easiest styles to stage lock?
Oh yeah. Well, it's also really good because it gives them anger control, or it just helps you level up because they've got a lot of anger.
Yeah. The most 2 anger I think of any style.
Yeah. I mean, like Black Garlic Jr. was a thing for a reason.
Yeah.
It was definitely a thing for a reason. And
if you didn't hold him down, he was going to MPPV.
I tip my hat for that build because that thing was just wrecking for the longest time here.
Those were the days. I miss that. When those, when you see the Garlic Jr. player, I miss that. He needs to come back. As far as it goes, like I said, very solid power. Goes back to the discarding mechanic. Gives you something you never had before.
The other thing I like is it's an optional. You have options with this. If you don't need the stages, you don't need to use it. If you need the stages, it's there.
To continue an assault, to get out of stage lock, to help lower an MPPV risk.
Yep.
Okay, Saiyan Style Mastery. I'm going to open this one because do you remember how as soon as we heard, because I think it's about this point where we're hearing about the Frozen list, where we're not panicked, but we're thinking, hold the phone. What on earth could replace the current Empowered Mastery as by far the most important? Because between all of us, between everybody listening, Rampaging was doo-doo. It was okay. It was okay.
Not bad. You had to play it a little differently. I mean, you could play it with Vegeta, and you can get your free one-off on for free and stuff like that. But it wasn't horrible. It was a little underwhelming compared to the other one. I think it will see a little more play now. But when you look at what it has to actually work against, they just kind of that one was a flop. Instead of trying to make it a little more balanced or giving cards for it, we're just going to make one that's even more broke.
That was what I was kind of worried about because I said, okay, it's super difficult to stage lock a Saiyan in Empower, that is. And it was super delicate to keep them from reaching level 4 because virtually they're certain you're going to see level 4 in this game. Not many decks can tell you, oh, we're going to duke this out on level 4, and you know it.
Actually, Saiyan Nappa never really did that.
No,
well, my second build of it, the one that was more or less of like stage lock. I'm just going to mill you for fun.
No, that was like I said. You came at him sideways in a very unexpected manner, and if you couldn't deal with it, you couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
What answers did you have? So that was the point of where we were. Our mindset was we said, okay, if Saiyan Empowered's going away, what could conceivably Panini actually do about that? And then we started to think about it. We said, okay, which mastery will it mimic? We didn't expect this, to be honest. None of us expected the blue 6.
I actually don't.
I didn't.
I don't even know if I really think Brawley's going to use this.
Maybe not.
I feel like they're gonna go to rampaging, and I think and I could see it doing both ways. The only reason why is because this level 1 is such a strong level 1, and I've proven that because
you parked the whole game.
I played a whole regionals basically on level 1. Dealing like 7 stages of damage with it and milling people out with it.
I genuinely forgot that you did.
So I mean, like.
Well, the first thing we're going to say is, and everybody's noted this, of course, in previous stuff. Everyone's noted the first technical effect says you may begin the game at level 2, which is helpful. The may part is
yeah, it is may, so they may still use this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's super neat to get a leg up and to say, well, you're never going to stop me on level 1 anymore. I'm going to go to level 2.
And I guess, like, if it works out, like, they're going to have to figure out how you're going to decide when or when not you're going to go up to level 2. Like, if it's at the beginning of the game or if it's, like, before you guys show each other your MPs. Because, like, you could see an MP and you could be like,
oh, gosh,
that's the one that I need to be at level 2 against.
I never really thought about that. When must you choose this? I assume before you choose who goes first. That's all.
I think so too, but
that is a little bit too much information.
Because there's a little more strategy at that point.
That ain't right. Oh, gosh.
Because if you're going against like an orange player or something like that, or an ally player, you're just like, no, I need to be at level 2, Brawley.
Level 2 Brawley, because I'm going to banish everything. I don't even care if I level now. I'm where I need to be. That's a little. I hope that gets clarified when you must.
Well, the problem is you're going to level. There is no doubt about unless if you're playing against blue and they're just continuously knocking down your anger. Because the thing is now everything gives you anger. And you know what? That opens up a lot more attacks to be used, because a lot of attacks before, you've never used them because you only used the stuff that gave you an anger, so that way you gain 2 anger.
It's super interesting to think about that. They were like, okay, in Saiyan style, were the decks horribly, horribly static? Virtually.
And they were.
Oh, could you move over? Yeah, very static and terrible. And you were like, not terrible, that's the wrong word, but I'm just saying,
not
it was
creative. There's no real twist to it that made it really ridiculous. I mean, like, yeah, there was the Raditz decks and stuff like that, but they were very few and far between, and they still had a core of around a lot of the same cards, and they were the cards that gave you an anger, so that way you gained 2 anger. So the fact that they're kind of saying, hey, everything's open game now. Now you can run those drill heavy Saiyan decks. You can run Drill Coup now in
which
there.
big thumbs up for me.
You can run just have fun, do whatever you want. If you like a card because of the way it is, play it. It makes Saiyan grab.
What the heck
it is, right?
It's the villains only
one. Yeah, it makes it more viable.
Speaking of this, you know what card I can't say this enough about. Why did it come to mind? I don't know. But from the moment I saw this, I said, Saiyan Smack is now a Raise Your Anger card for, without having to worry about running Empowered.
Yep.
You got to be kidding me. I could stage drain the poop out of a guy.
Yep.
And get anger for my trouble.
Yep.
I like it. This mastery, because the whole concept of starting at level 2, badly needed to have a limiting factor of 6 anger to advance. You say, why is that there? One, to make you have a little bit more strategy on leveling than just like powers, just throw an attack, level, throw an attack, level. That's all you needed, really.
I mean, like, you're still going to kind of have that, but it gives them more of a chance to be like, okay, now I can stop you.
Not to mention, anti-anger is unbelievably powerful. Like you say, how? What do you mean? You know how there's more cards now that say lower your anger 3 levels that you kind of didn't even know existed or cared for? Yeah. Now they're going to mean something.
Yeah.
They're going to mean something now.
Yeah, they're going to mean a lot.
He said, I'm very, very okay with this. I thought I was going to not like the concept of starting level 2 and all that stuff. No, it's balanced out just fine.
I think I'm still waiting for that empowered kick to actually be a thing. Setting both players to 2 anger.
That needs to be a thing. Why is that card not seeing more play?
I tried it out in Gohan.
How'd it go?
In Raid, was it Rampaging? I think it was in Rampaging because at that point you're halfway there to to your next level, and then you just Gohan punch to level up.
Why didn't we do that?
I tried. It just didn't work as well.
Well, I like that idea of like, were you gonna love it? No, you're not. You're not gonna love it. We're gonna go ahead and spend some time on this one because there's a lot here. So it has 3 different things to discuss, 3 different areas. We have start of your, we have a parenthetical, a continuous, and a once per turn.
Literally, this is the tag mastery for Orange, and this is what needed to happen, and it's gonna open up so many doors, and it's so great. Because like a lot of people, they can't use the adapt. The adaptive is actually the adapt drill, and the adapt mastery is really good. Being able to search out a drill for your first attack. I ran a Orange Yamcha deck with adapt, and it still runs really consistently and really great because you can search out that drill once per turn basically and just start steamrolling. And the consistency of it. This one's different. This is saying, hey, you shouldn't come in on me first turn, because if not, I'm going to punish you, especially with a lot of the new Orange drills that came out. What was it? Lover's Drill? I think it's like 4 Lover's Drill or something like that. Basically, it's going to be kind of the replacement for Possession Drill. I don't think it really is. I think it's going to be kind of a mix on you, because basically what you do is you can show up to 2 drills, put them back into your deck, shuffle, and then draw that many drills.
Which
and it's a non-power. It's non-continuous.
I always think, remember how we said with adaptive dying, some decks disappeared instantly? Like Roshi Red probably is going to disappear instantly.
Yeah.
Android 20 disappeared instantly. I said he's going to come back, but not like before.
Well, and we saw this last regionals. We saw an Orange Adept Roshi, and you know what? Like I said,
how did it go?
I went to top 16.
Nice.
Basically, what it did is it took the Android 20 engine, where it just pull out drills out of the task. Because you basically do that really easily, especially with the Adept, because you get the 1 from it hitting. Then if you play like Searching Maneuver, you get the drill at the end of the turn. It could be any drill. It could be a stylus drill or anything. Then you have things like, what was it called?
Yeah.
Searching, no, it's not Searching. I'll think of it. It's the one where if you played another physical from your hand, you can then
I don't know
play a drill. Yeah, and I'm horrible with names, but I really know how to play Orange. Trust me on this. I really do.
It spoke to you like the Mickey did for me.
Well, yeah, and basically you just grab it, put it on another one, and if it's the first style attack that hits, you get 2 drills basically. So, and you still have that AT +4 modifier since you're going physical with it, and you can make Roshi hit numbers that he has no business hitting, just no business at all hitting.
Part of me wants me to say like, well, you're gonna have to show me that because I can't believe it. But we'll talk about the parenthetical in this regard. It has 2 limiters on it that make it reasonable. It keeps from being broken. The first is
non-continuous.
That's right, non-continuous and styled. So it doesn't limit your choices. It just requires you to be very creative.
Like I said, it means you're gonna make sure that your first combat, if they decide to go on you, is not a dead draw, because you're either gonna get that one that gives you that, or you're gonna get possession.
Yep.
For the most part.
And who doesn't love this idea where my mastery is a toolbox now?
This is where I'm saying like Orange Krillin is gonna be a thing, because you're gonna come in on me first turn. I'm gonna grab a possession drill. I'm going to Krillin, I'm going to ditch to draw 2 cards. I might have to drop 2 cards.
The setup is going to be horrendous for them, not for you. You're like, wow, now I have to start thinking just like with tag team.
Well, and see,
I have to think about
and also we haven't touched it yet, but also I'm going to gain even more anger off of that activate once per turn.
Ooh.
So. But yeah, continuing on the continuous. Whenever your MP changes levels, you may shuffle all your drills back into the deck.
Okay.
We kind of saw this recursion with
Adept.
With Adept, and we're seeing more physical attacks. This is going to be and I'm calling this right now. I might be wrong. I might not. I'm going to say this Adapt is the more physical.
Yep. definitely.
This one's going to be the energy replacement because they don't have the rejuvenation for the energy cards. They have all the endurance in the world, which the problem that Adept was missing is they don't have the endurance, which is going to be solved in this new set, thankfully. I was looking at the new stuff, and my friend was just toying with me, going up to regionals, just showing me all the new stuff, and I'm just like,
I haven't seen any of this. I haven't seen any of
Oh,
this.
it's so broken. I can talk all day about Oregon, but
Well, for me, you get one of the things that not I hated, but I found was, hey, that's unfair, you scrubs.
this also gives you more options to run different blocks than the ones that grab stuff out of your graveyard. You're still going to kind of run those because you will take damage.
It's neat to think about. You don't have to worry so much about losing all your drills like that. It's not going to happen. You can expect to draw them again. It means you can have more of a
You can have more of that possession drill that's sitting right there for you. It has more of a response now. It has more of an issue. It has more want to be there.
Well, to me, this effect, the continuous, should have been how adaptive always worked. To me, never losing your drills ever means, remember Android 20's wall of 500 drills? Yeah, no, that was always terrible. That was always a bad idea.
Okay, and then the next style of attack you perform this combat has its power stage cost reduced to 0, raise your anger 2 levels, and then if your MP has changed levels this combat, search your life deck for a style drill and place it into play. So you will always have that possession drill out, and you will always be ready to go for that dead hand drop. Like I said, this is going to make Orange so much better, and I'm just happy about it.
This may be the best conceived series of texts where everything's separated by a period that I've seen in the game. You say, why? Okay, first of all, it requires you to use this before you do something. That's a balancing factor. You must open up with it. The next style of attack, it has to be styled, so that's a big deal. And then you say it has power stage.
You can use it whenever, but it's the next style of attack you perform.
Oh yeah, what we're saying is to set all this up, it requires you one extra step. It doesn't just kick off and go.
You're not just like.
Nope, that would be bad. See, that would be unbalanced. So that's the first part of it. The second part here is raising your anger. You say, why is that important? Well, Orange has always had anger problems.
Yes.
Always.
I mean, they have things like captivity. Captivity, okay. And like I said, this is going to be the, I know I'm going to have to leave, but we'll finish this conversation up first. But they've had captivity drill. The problem with captivity drill is it's a hit effect.
Yes.
It is a hit effect.
It means that you cannot use it as a dependable means to gain anger. What if they throw time? Or one of those jerks who spams time?
Yep. And so that, like, the physicals, they got disaster drill. Disaster drill works no matter what. That's the good thing about it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the problem with energy. But at the same time,
here's the kicker. Tell me about this concept of the order it's in. Okay, it goes raise your anger up to 2 levels. Like if you don't want to level
up to 2 levels, yeah.
So that's neat. More control's neat. But here's the kicker. Why is this important? When you follow your immediate effects, you do them in order. Yep. If you level, then this next part of the text actually applies. If it was the opposite order, it would be the dumbest thing ever. Like, why do I care?
Yep. So basically, it is. It's kind of like Lord Slug, where if you play it right, you can play Lord Slug's Fist Slam.
Yes.
You can gain the 2 anger from the part about being 2 or lower, level up to level 3, and then get the rejuvenation and the Dragon Ball Steel.
It is almost too good. I'm more pleased with this. Like I said, do I play Orange? No. But do I understand the power of that, and I need to be aware of it in my mind?
Oh, definitely.
You have a back pocket anger. You have all kinds of stuff to manage.
Like I said, first turn you could go in against Krillin, and we can leave the combat, and I could be 4 anger up at the very least.
No thanks. I didn't want to think about it.
Sort of thing, so don't worry.
Okay, so it's finally time to get to the Namekian style mastery. It's specifically Namekian Radiant Mastery. 2 effects, just like before. 1 continuous, 1 power. That seems to be a good formula. No parentheticals this time. If I was going to go ahead and evaluate this, I'd say make me go second. James, you want to go first?
If I was to evaluate this is going to be the next one that gets rewritten 3 times, 4 times. It does a lot of things. And it does them really well, and it fits with the theme that they're trying to do. They're really trying to say, hey, you guys are the master of the balls, so embrace it, fondle them, keep them yours, you know. We already saw last set where they came out with, I think 2 more cards that were basically, like, reinforced block and a couple of the other cards that were just like, hey, these are my balls. Stop touching them.
This is true. This is true.
I also am really excited for this because when I first saw this, I'm like, this is it. This is where Slug is going to make his match, and we're already seeing that. I really liked to play Slug when he first came out, and I had a really ridiculous deck that was basically, I'm just going to sit there, rejuvenate 8 cards a turn or so until I win by Dragon Ball.
So technically, what we're talking about when we say the win condition
is
the same thing as it always has been. To reiterate something, we may have jumped in a little bit. We are of the firm belief that this particular mastery is not really the strongest for Piccolo. We feel it was actually not really intended for him. We feel it was more intended for Nail and for Slug.
Well, and see, that's what I was going to get with next was Nail. Because what does Nail do very well? At the beginning, he punishes people for blocking his attacks. But once he gets to level 3 and level 4, he does this quick flip-flop where he's just like, all of a sudden, he still does more damage when he does any kind of styled attack, because they all do plus... Actually, not even styled attack. It's all his attacks do plus 3 stages, which is really good and strong, actually, to make up for his weaker power levels. But he also has this thing where he can either play a Dragon Ball from his hand, or see that Dragon Ball on the field, that's going back to the owner's hand. And guess what? I'm going to gain an anger from it. That's why I feel like, and everyone's running around rampant saying, Slug, 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 our new overlord. I'm going to ball out in 2 turns. I feel like Unleashed or some sort of quick anger gain Nail is going to be right in there with it. I think that's going to be the counter, because they're going to be playing Dragon Balls from their hands, from the card effects, right at the same rate as the 2. Yeah, Slug can capture, but the problem with Slug capturing is all these new cards saying, hey, you can't capture anything, and then Nail's going to hit level 3, and he's going to be like, hey, I've got most of these balls, but I'm just going to send this back to your hand, play mine from my hand, or from the deck, and then I'm just going to keep on picking out your stuff until I can get my full set. And that's just how I'm kind of seeing it.
He's generally equipped. But if you, the audience, have picked up on something, did you notice we've been discussing almost entirely Slug and Nail in regards to the new mastery? There's a reason for that. We were of the opinion that Panini perhaps feels that Nail and Slug disappeared as characters. And they're not wrong, because if you think about all the tournaments and
they never really got a chance to come into their own. Slug never really got enough cards to say, hey, this is my one big win condition.
They didn't complement his style.
And with Garlic Jr. running around at the same time, they could capture him from the first mastery via his level 3 power. It just kind of felt hollow to take away something's win condition like that. And then Brawly came out, and Brawly's like, I'm going to banish this from the top of the deck, and then you're fucked.
We can't say this enough. We cannot say this enough. When Broly went against Slug, Slug would lose 2 Dragon Balls
away from being victory,
and that's it.
A Dragon Ball,
and he's dead.
Yeah,
unfortunately, he's not going to outlive Broly, because Broly has simply too much power to damage and tear through the deck and banish damage, and undo everything Slug does. So he would have been one of maybe the first casualty of the launch of Vengeance.
Yep. And then Nail never really got a chance. He works in some different decks, and I tried to do like a couple orange beatdowns with Nail because of the fact that Nail's dashing attack is considered to be whatever he wants to be either. Namekian, Nail's dashing attack, orange Nail's dashing attack, blue Nail's dashing attack. I even tried a blue mill deck with Nail, where like you get to level 2, dominance up to level 2, they'd block your attack, and they would mill 5 cards.
I adored that deck. I built it a few times. It was always fun. I don't know why I couldn't win though.
Because the problem is nothing complemented the style that he flip-flopped. And he just didn't have the attack to go with it.
Yeah,
and a lot of these
down, half Dragon Ball.
And a lot of the making cards, especially the ones that you had to play, were like AT plus 4 stages or AT plus 2 stages. It just doesn't work for him as his way that he is. And now we saw, especially with Evolution and then Perfection and then Vengeance, a lot of the stuff was like set stage damage, which helped out Nail, helped out Slug, and the effects also went with them.
But we had to reiterate, not enough to actually tip them into the viable spectrum. No. It just made them more playable, but we can't use the word viable here.
No.
And that's frustrating because we think any character in any deck should be viable given a significant card pool and a person willing to put in the time. Theoretically, that's how the game should work.
Theoretically.
By the way, we have spent all this time as a preamble leading up to the actual explanation of the mastery.
Yeah.
We're going to start with the continuous effect. This is specific. Whenever an Earth Dragon Ball you own enters play during combat, raise your anger 1 level. I'm going to stop this right there just for one thing. This is an inversion of the old mechanic. Remember the old mechanic said place a Dragon Ball into play, they mill on top of their deck. Now that actually is an anger gaining mechanic. This replaces the rejuvenation and shuffling thing from good old Namekian knowledge. So fantastic because an absurd number of cards place Dragon Balls into play, but very few actually
play them.
Yes. So
it's not as punishing. It actually makes flinch good again.
Yeah. Couldn't believe that. I was like, oh yay! That's why flinch got nerfed because now it's actually a better card than it used to be.
Well,
I'm sorry. It isn't.
It will see a little more play now because of that. I mean, it's not to say they didn't see play. Definitely in Gohan and stuff like that. It did.
That was a key card from day one, and I cut it to 2 without batting eyelash.
It was like when I did that with Slug, I abused the shit out of it.
The bad things that would happen to people.
Well, I took a Frieza, the Frieza deck that actually won top 16 last year. Took him from level 4 down to level 1 in one turn. In one turn, and then in one combat.
Because you played the ball 2.
I would shuffle it back in, play the ball 2 again, and then just keep doing that. Then he tried to get to level 2 again, and then I just shut him back down with flinch again. So I mean,
it was
pretty good.
Long story short is flinch got nerfed for a reason.
Yeah,
there's a reason that got changed. Possibly the most abused card, maybe.
Especially when I can go to Dragon Ball 3 or Dragon Ball 5 2 or 3 times a combat, or even 7, and just stack up my next 2 turns.
You know what? It seems like a distant memory now, but life must have been really good, and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't know. You never played Slug. It was a fun deck to play, and it was really actually cool. At least just the shenanigans from it.
Now, there is one thing here that Okay, now, James here will tell you he likes this, but I will tell you I don't like it, and I'll tell you my 2 reasons. The second part of the continuous power is, while 3 or more Earth Dragon Balls you own are in play, that language is very important, we'll talk about it in a second, your attacks deal plus 2 life cards. There are reasons I don't like this. The first is, a damage buff is very appreciated to Namekian, as Namekian had very little in the course of the all previous 6 sets. Here's my problem, is that first it's situational, you need 3 Dragon Balls out. My problem with that is that they become targets, they become easily taken under certain circumstances, and eventually you don't have them because they became a liability. Not fun. The second part is the phrase you own. So it means Dragon Balls you captured do not count towards this total.
Actually, they do because they're on your side of the field.
But really, you own? I thought the phrase would have been you control.
No. Here's the...
I mean, if that's how it works...
If it is, then that means that it doesn't even matter if they take them.
Yeah,
if that's how they're going with it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, because they usually go back to the owner's hand or in control.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I was like, if
that's the case, then it's even more broke than what people are thinking or originally might think. Because at that point, you stole my Dragon Ball. I didn't have one of the 12 different cards that say, hey, don't touch my balls. I didn't see the one that comes up for endurance. I didn't rejuvenate silencing drill, which also stops them from spearing
I'm very
me, by the way.
appreciative of this idea. There's
or,
so many.
Or playing any of like the 3 attack cards that are just like, hey, or 2 attack cards, or a physical block that say, hey, don't touch my stuff.
Well, it's great. Definitely. My complaint is just it was too situational for me. When you say to set up 3 or more Dragon Balls, I'm going to tell you that's, to me, we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, I haven't played this.
Think about the drill. The drill that you used to play too.
Was it Shocking Drill?
No. It was the one that where either if you had 2 or more allies or Dragon Balls fight, you got to add one. I still played that. I played the crap out of
okay.
it, and every turn I was
okay.
rejuvenating it and then pulling it back out.
It's the most beautiful thing ever in Slug because he can make that happen.
Because it can make it happen, and you're talking about the 2 people right now, especially with all the new cards that come out that are pulling out Dragon Balls and saying you can't touch them. It's going to be a thing.
All right. Let's move on to the power. Then I have a mean thing to say to James. Yeah. Stay tuned. Okay. The power says if less than 3 Dragon Balls you own are in play. So this is, like I said, a once per turn power. If less than 3 Dragon Balls you own are in play, search a Dragon Ball for a deck and place in play. Obviously, this power interacts with the continuous power to give you an anger for playing it. Great. Fantastic. I don't mind this power. This is actually maybe the one I complain about least, except that you have to just accept that the Dragon Ball you're putting into play, you're not getting its power. That's not the point. The point is to get it out in the field in order to activate other effects.
Yep.
So,
or to get around effects.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
The new Dragon Ball 2, for example, the new Dragon Ball 2, where you have to advance or lower your opponent's personnel, and you can't lower them if they're already at level 1.
What?
Therefore, you have to boop them up.
No.
Because you can't go lower.
No. That is awful.
So, but the cool thing is, I can place into play, and if they crit and they decide to take the Dragon Ball or anything else, I'd say level me up.
Which I like this idea. Clearly they had this in mind. Like I said, this is a very solid power. I don't mind it. The part where people are like, but it's useless. It stops at 3 Dragon Balls. No. Let's be clear. It has a built-in limit that keeps abuse from happening.
Yes. It's like Adept Drill. Adept Drill, because think about this. If I could search out a drill every turn for the first attack that I threw out,
yeah, it would be broken. That is the essence of broken. See, if people don't get what broken means able to be used without a cost or any limit built into it.
There's no tit for tat trade.
No, and that's where we used to say when a card becomes broken. I will gladly put a couple on the list that people will be like, how can you say that? Ready? They're making hybrid defense.
Yep.
You're
talking to the guy that played it with Slug. And I played it with the new restored mastery. And I just put it at the bottom of my deck because it'd be the last thing that I rejuvenate. Oh, guess what? End of my turn, going to the top of the deck.
Yeah, and I said like, hey, it was great, it was effective, but you know what? My opponent must have been pretty frustrated watching me do that.
John fucking rage quit after about the 6th time that I did that to him.
This I recall. I remember hearing the story sometime afterwards. Oh, you know where we at? We're to the mean thing.
I made Yamcha rage quit. Let's put it that way. I made Yamcha rage quit about being too defensive, or passive. So yeah.
Oh, my mean thing I was going to tell you about. All right, you want to do this, James?
Okay.
All right, you can build a slug deck. Okay, we'll build a nail deck, and we'll meet in the middle. Yeah, think about that. You think I won't do it? You think I got the guts?
Oh, I think you'll do it.
All I'm going to do is I'm going to bust out my nail deck from many years ago, where if anybody doesn't know, regional 2015 I used nail. I had a great time, crummy record, but admittedly nail and slug were not equipped to deal with things at that time.
No.
Going forward, this ought to be hilarious.
Oh yeah, I still, and I'm glad that I did this before it may increase. I don't know. I still think that nail's going to be the counter to slug just because of his level 3.
We're gonna fight for a long time when the day comes.
Yeah, and I'm glad that I picked up a whole hollow set of everything for now.
Did you?
Yep. 2 hybrid, 2 nails, heritages, 3 dashing attacks, and 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Wow, you lucky rat! I have all of my stuff left over from when I was a nail fanatic, but I think I have 1 foil in the whole pile.
Yep. Got the last one from CJ.
Nice.
Yep. So.
So that's going to be our goal, audience. Is that James is going to go with Slug. I'm going to go with Nail. We're going to build us some mean decks, and we're going to have us a good time. However, we're going to just put this in perspective. You will get to see this whole thing evolve. We're going to go ahead and actually show our progress, and then we're going to have us a huge slugfest, so to speak.
I love that.
And then when the day comes, we're gonna cut full-on wrestling promos about our fight. I'm gonna get that James. I'm gonna grind my heel on his fudged face. I'm gonna call his mama down from the stands, and I'm gonna say, "Look real close."
When you think you've done anything, I'll heal myself. I think the funniest thing was when I had one combat, I had like half of my deck in the graveyard, and graded me like 3 or 4 times, and then by the end of the turn, I had no discard pile.
I'm sorry, did a mosquito just bite me?
It's great. When you played Namekian...
What did I hit you with?
What was it? Namekian Regeneration? When you play a Namekian... No, it was actually, it's kind of funny, because it was actually against a cell deck. It's the funny thing. You play that right off the bat when you're at level 3. Being able to choose the top 8 cards, the bottom 8 cards of your... Or either or to rejuvenate...
That's what he said. Yeah, is that when he drew a bullseye on your face and said, "Yeah, Sal, go ahead. Come on. You know where this is going."
Please, sir, I have another.
All right.